Hi, Mr. Casey Remodeling. I have a question to ask today. What does it look like when someone hires you to do an addition? What are the processes and the steps that you do?
So we always start out with, we go on site, we meet you, we take a look at your house, and we, kind of see what your vision is and can give you a rough range on what the project could cost. When we get it nailed down to, okay, I want, a living room this size added to the side of my house. Okay, that's a general scope agreement at that point. And so then the first step at that would then be for us to give you our estimate of what we think it could cost, usually a range, and then if that sounds good to the client, we'll then send it off to the architect. At that point, you'll have to pay for the architecture fees. They can vary depending on how big your project or how complicated it is. And that process can take, if it's simple, sometimes we can get it done within a month, sometimes it can take up to a couple months. Once we get drawings back from architecture and engineering, that's then when we can start doing the hard bid on the project and kind of finalizing those costs. I know some people are a little bit uncomfortable with this stage because they have to put a little bit of money up before agreeing to things. When working with KC Remodeling, if you get to this stage in the process with us and decide you no longer want to move forward, you get to keep the drawings that you paid for and the engineering. So if you decide to pick the project back up, or if, for whatever reason you don't feel like we're the contractor for you, that's completely okay. You have the drawings to move on later with somebody else. But at that stage, we're then able to hard bid the project, go through material selection, and finalize what all of our costs are. And so we go from almost a small estimate, very little detail, to then a multi-page, very broke down bid of what the project will cost. And then at that point, if everything sounds good, everybody likes the plan, then that's when we sign our contracts. That's when we usually will sign a payment schedule. And once we have that initial deposit, we'll get you on the schedule and then we'll start chomping away through the project. With every remodel and especially additions, we can only bid on what we see. So when we get to the stage of having everything demoed, it is very often that we find something surprising or something we couldn't see before. And at that point, expect that there may be a change order. Some contractors operate within having allowances built in their initial bids. We don't like to do that because, too often you end up overcharging somebody, in my opinion. So we like to be very face value. If it's on our bid, we're charging for it. If it's not on our bid, we're not charging for it. And if that thing pops up, that's then when we do a change order, have a signed agreement on the additional cost. And that's just one way that we believe we're able to provide quality work at a fair price.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time.